though. Am I gonna be in your way?
No, you're not
Okay.
in the way.
I didn't think I was gonna be able to shut my car alarm off.
We were wondering who that was.
It was me. I could not, it has not happened to me before, but of course it would happen.
All right, well, it is 5:31 PM on Monday, September 11, 2023. I will call the City of Motley City Council work session to order. Roll call, we have all present departmentally with the exception of the fire department. That being said, agenda order, public forum, number 3 on our agenda.
I'm guessing this is on there because we had discussed at the end of the last meeting to move it to the beginning of the meeting versus at the end. Am I right, Darcy?
Mike asked for it to be on here,
Oh.
on that meeting.
Yeah.
I mean,
It had come up as a discussion, not other new or old business, so we thought it was best to put it on the work session to discuss it here, and then put it formally on the agenda if indeed we want to make changes.
It is ordinance, the order of the agenda. So I got our draft back from American Legal Publishing, if anyone wants some light reading. But I did happen to turn to that page. So changing the order would involve an ordinance. I don't think we actually do it in the order our ordinance says either, but. Oh, here it is. This is what our ordinance says for order of business. You guys wanna look at it?
Well, I just asked for it to be put on the work session agenda, it wasn't necessarily I think it came about because we've had some people that have wanted to talk, our meetings have run long, those folks have had to wait for a while, so I think it was more out of courtesy to the public. An ordinance is a little more involved for us to change than just sitting here and to stay on the next meeting, so it'd be a bigger decision for the council to consider. Or the order can just stand and we can move on to number 3, or number 4.
I know at that League of Minnesota Cities workshop I was at it, there are cities that put it at the beginning so that they don't have to sit through the whole thing. And in case, while we can't act on it, in case they have something to say in regards to an item that's on the agenda. So what you're saying, Darcy, is we'd have to redo the ordinance or do an
Do
ordinance?
an ordinance to amend it.
That's my thought.
Your thoughts to move it after
My
the...
thought is to move it so that, like I said, so the public don't have to sit here through the whole thing if they don't want to, and so they can be heard before we vote on any of the items that are on the agenda, if they want to speak on them.
We're still talking about 3, right?
Yep. Moving it up past we have to, by ordinance, we have to do the call, order, pledge of allegiance, roll call, review the agenda, and then consent agenda items, and then next could be the option of public hearing, which is the public forum. So,
No, would that be changed at our council meeting?
we'll have to go through an ordinance, which would have to be drafted and us to approve so it wouldn't happen tonight, but it could happen by the October meeting, because the new ordinance would have to be drafted for us to vote on and approve. So we could certainly change it, it just won't happen this evening at either meeting. It would have to be at the October meeting in the form of an ordinance change update in order to move that.
So as it stands now and the meeting tonight,
Public
the
forum.
public forum would be where it's always been.
Yep, it'll be number 11.
Okay.
And that's kind of out of our hands because it's in the code of ordinances, so we can't do that in a meeting such as this. So I think for the purpose of moving past number 3, we have to decide, do we want to see the public forum move up in the agenda or leave it where it's at? So Darcy has direction on drafting an ordinance or not.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it should stay where it's at.
You know, it doesn't really make a difference to me. I would say on the only flip side of it is looking at other cities' code of conduct. Most of them don't have it at the top, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not. But maybe you look at what some other cities do too and get some direction there.
Yeah, some are at the beginning, some are at the end.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
I'm certainly okay leaving it. I was just being respectful of the citizens so they didn't have to sit through everything.
Yeah.
It was just a concern because I know there was an individual that had to sit through all of it and wanted to make a comment and whatnot. So I was just being considerate of them. But it can certainly stay. Makes no difference to me. I was just, like I said,
No, and it sounds like we're slamming back to it can stay. I'm neutral.
yeah.
All right, we'll just stay respectively number 11 or the latter part of our meetings. Hiring committee policy, police chief hiring committee.
It's on the regular council agenda, so unless anybody else has any discussion. I don't have. It's on both of them, correct, Darcy? Yeah.
Do we know why it was on?
Yeah, I had asked Darcy to put it on, and I'm fine with it just being on the regular agenda too.
Is there anything we can discuss here that would move our
No,
evening?
well, the only thing I see that could be a potential question in the future is how we have all 3 department heads, and I just maybe not, probably
maybe not worthy of a big discussion, but I mean, if we limit 3 and we have 4, or if we have 1, you know, that was my only question on that for you guys, what your thoughts were on that.
As far as all the department heads being.
Yeah, I mean,
interview process?
It states all 3 department heads.
4.
All 4, okay, yeah. So if, well, the one you sent me says, okay,
Says all
plus
the-
the liaison, right?
All the department heads, a liaison from the council and then another council member.
Well, if you don't feel that nothing needs to be changed, it was just my question if that needed to be corrected at all. And I mean, if we just say all department heads rather than putting an exact number.
Because the 3 was changed to a 4 at one of our last meetings in the last month, if I recall, like to represent. It was
That
not
was
necessarily a
the
typo,
liaison
but it was,
policy.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the August 14th one that Darcy sent me does state all 3 department heads, so I don't know if that,
That should have been 4 then, yeah.
okay. That's all I questioned.
Okay.
Is there any concern about it being an even number? Because in the past, we always try to make sure that committee has an odd number just so that there's no stalemates. And is that any concern there?
Well, that's a reasonable twist. Yeah. With potential.
Well, isn't there 7 now? Can you read that again, Nikki?
The policy?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
4 department heads.
Hiring committees may consist of all 3 department heads, 2 members of the council. 1 shall be the liaison of the department hiring, and 1 shall be a rotating member.
Doesn't
And
it
then a
say?
member of the public.
And then a member of the public?
Yeah.
Does it,
Yeah.
so that, yeah, that's 7 then.
Yeah, page that
And in a sense, if we're hiring for one of the departments, the exiting department is probably not a part of the interview process at times, so that would make 4 or 3, right?
That's not how this reads, though, I don't believe. It was brought up in conversation, but it was never
Yeah.
voted on.
So it may consist of, yeah.
What happens if you don't have a member of the public or,
It says it's an option.
but then by having them included, you
Yeah.
may,
I think when we
Maybe
started
coming
about
up.
the heads, it was obviously unless if they're leaving on bad terms.
Mhm.
When we talked about department heads.
Yeah, and then the member of the public can consist of a city resident or a neighboring police department or organization.
So who is on the hiring committee?
Which one?
The police chief.
It is Pat, Brenda, and the 4 department heads.
Okay. I think I was on it originally,
You're on the
Uh,
police officer hiring committee.
police officer, right?
Mhm.
We're talking, this one is the police chief.
But how does that work now with Jason taking another job, so he's gone? And Brenda being the wife of the police officer, that doesn't seem
She's got no
like it should matter.
financial anything in it. I don't
Okay.
know why it would matter.
Well, I'm just voicing my opinion for, it seems highly unusual.
Well, let's face it, nothing's usual about the last couple months.
I agree, Brenda. Very much.
And yeah, we're discussing the policy, and maybe that, you know, to discuss the chief hiring committee. I don't know who put that on, I don't think.
You asked to put it on.
Did I? Okay, sorry about that. No. We can skip over that, but my only question was with the hiring policy, but if it's on the agenda and we're gonna talk about it, that's fine. I can see concern. I mean, I've heard concern too, but we voted on it. I know in the past, are we moving on to the police chief hiring committee? Are we done with this? Or I don't want to.
Well, I think the police chief hiring committee is the hiring committee policy. They're specific to the police chief hiring committee.
So it's okay to discuss that too?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what we
All
are
right.
discussing is the hiring committee policy relative to the police chief hiring.
Yeah, and I know I raised concerns in the one meeting about having a department head that has resigned. And I've read it on the league website too about, you know, employees leaving and being unhappy. And my concern is, why would we want an upset employee who has put in a resignation on a hiring committee? That, I think that's a legitimate concern.
I think it's a very important one.
But this is just discussion.
Well, the policy reads it
Yep.
may be up to, so if the council sees it better moving forward, that, to be specific, the exiting police chief is not a part of police chief hiring. First and foremost, you have to get an interim to maintain what we have. The hiring of a police chief, just based on the protocols requirements of that timeline, we are a ways out from that yet. So I'd have to think at that point, the interim chief is sitting in on the hiring committee for the formal chief of police hire. If that makes sense. I don't foresee the exiting chief who's taken a position in another city coming back to be a part of hiring the future police chief. I think the interim chief will do that, along with department heads.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's something we could revisit if we wanted to. Is there a member of the public that's part of the, I'm not part of the police hiring committee, so was there a member of the public, or is
I don't
there?
think that it's been selected yet. We
Okay.
haven't, to my knowledge, like I said, the primary hire first is the interim chief, then the formal chief of police.
And then those people who are interested just,
Yep.
you know, discuss that and vote on.
Yep, they contact, and then based on that, we discuss and we
Okay.
choose. And I don't think to date, anyone has submitted their name to be a part of any committees as a date. So, because we're just looking for interim, and that's more interim.
That's all the questions I have.
I see what you're saying, but I'm thinking ahead of like Darcy's position. Who knows that position best than those department heads? And like you had stated, when we were visiting this